Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you lessons that I wish I knew earlier. And I always say this, I always say that life has a way of teaching you, like life is the best teacher. But another thing that I would like to say is that it's better to learn from other people's experience than for you to make the same mistake they made. So yeah, that's why I'm sharing these lessons today. I'm sharing these lessons not because I have it all figured out, but I'm sharing these lessons because they've helped shaped me, and I think that it's something that can encourage you, the lessons that you can learn from, the lessons that you can also share with others. So yeah, let's go straight into it. But before we go into one of the biggest lessons that I learned, please remember to subscribe to this channel, give this video a thumbs up so YouTube can show other people, and leave a comment in the comment section. So yeah, let's go into it. One of the biggest mistakes that I made is comparison. The Bible says that those that compare themselves are not wise. It's true. If you're comparing yourself, you're not wise. One thing I wish I realized earlier is that comparison can actually steal your joy. I'll go on social media and start wondering, why is this happening? Why is this not happening to me? And I'll find out that at night I wake up thinking about, okay, how can I quickly get to where this person has gotten to? How is this person way younger than me? And this person has achieved this already. Why have I not achieved this? And in as much as I feel like kind of it gives a drive, it gives a push for me to start to do things, it also steals my peace. And that was something I wish I knew earlier. I had no idea that as I was looking at other people's life, I was not seeing the blessings of God in my own life. When you begin to look at other people's life, you are blinded by the blessings that is actually in your own life. Comparison is basically like, running a race. Like you're running a race, maybe a marathon, or you're doing a sack race, and looking at the person beside you. When you begin to look at other people, you start to lose focus, you start to slow down, and you don't even know when you eventually finish last in that race. What I did not realize earlier is that everybody's timeline is different. And just because somebody got married early doesn't mean that I'm not going to get married. Or just because somebody got a dream house or a dream car doesn't mean that it's not also going to come to me. There's something we say breakfast. Like it will go round, right? And when you start to think of the timeline that the other person has, you forget that it's also going to come to you. I wish I knew earlier that my journey was mine, and that embracing my path is what will bring me joy. The Bible says that it makes everything beautiful in its time, not in your neighbor's time, not in your friend's time. Yeah, so let's move on to the next one. And this one is really personal to me. I used to hate waiting. And when I say waiting, when people say, wait on God, wait on God, I used to think that waiting was wasting time. Eventually, I got to learn that waiting is not wasting time. I thought that if something did not happen when I wanted it, I just automatically assumed that I was failing, right? And it affected me so much. I would be writing prayer requests, and I write many things that I want for God to do, and I will put a timeline to it, and the timeline will come, and I will say that it's probably not done, and I'm like, oh my God, time is gone. How am I going to be able to catch up with time? And without realizing that God is the owner of time, and He operates beyond time. He created time, so He operates outside of time. When you are cooking, you have to do meal prep. You have to prepare the meal. Doesn't mean that you're wasting time preparing the meal, because you need the preparation to actually make a good meal. And it's the same way you feel like you have a big performance, you're going to need to prepare for the performance. And just because you're rehearsing does not mean that you're wasting time. It means that you're trying to make sure that you do it well when you have the performance. That is how waiting season is. But I never saw it that way. I always saw it like, oh my God, this time is gone. Am I going to get it back? And you just see me saying, oh God, restore, restore, restore. But at the same time, yes, there's a place for restoration. But there are some times that, the waiting season It's for you to grow, it's for us to learn, it's for us to evolve, it's for us to become better, it's for us to not make the mistakes and disgrace ourselves on major big platforms. I wonder why we started to think that our waiting season is wasted. Like, it's not a wasted time. Why do we think that while we are waiting, nothing is happening? Everything basically that you need for the season that you're waiting for is happening. You need growth, you need preparation, you need wisdom, and that's the period where we get to learn it. What I never say it that way. I always saw it like it has to be sharp, sharp. My God, I pray you answer quick and fast. There are times when it happens like that, but there are also times when you need to grow to your requests. Apostle Joshua Selman would say the better version of you, right, needs to evolve. Yes, 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 yes. Looking back at the time I thought that God was delaying me, I really see it now as it was preparing me, it was developing me to be, a better person. And there are things that I really wanted to happen at a certain age that did not happen. If it had happened then, I might have destroyed it. I might have made a mess of myself. Most of the waiting seasons, it's a time for us to actually even appreciate God, that the things that we wanted, He did not give it to us. There's this illustration Apostle Joshua Selman uses. It would say that, no matter how much you love your child, you cannot give a 5-year-old child a car key to start driving. Even if the child feels like, I can drive my toy car, your toy car is not daddy's car. And because daddy loves you, daddy's not going to give you car key to start driving because you're going to have an accident. So yeah, you tell the child no, but that no is not out of a place of, I don't want you to drive. It's because there is a time where you will grow and you start driving and you'll not make a mess of yourself, you'll not cause an accident, you'll not kill yourself. It's out of love that sometimes God gives us this waiting season. Say, wait, you need to grow, you need to develop. Now, the next lesson I wish I learned earlier, and I wish I learned it way back from my university or my secondary school days. I wish I learned boundaries very early. I wish I learned to set boundaries very, very early. Right from secondary school, I didn't think I had boundaries. I think I just let everything happen without setting proper structure in my life, without putting a fence for myself and a fence for others. Honestly, cannot emphasize this enough. Boundaries are not selfish. In fact, they are necessary. For the longest time, I said yes to everything, and it got to a point where I started saying no. And I remember the first time I said no, I felt bad. And I felt really bad, like I said no to someone. But the thing is, people will take advantage of you if you don't have boundaries. They don't care. You probably lie down flat and they tell you you're not flat enough. The truth is, you cannot please everyone. No matter how much you feel like, oh, this is that. Try to be a good girl. You can never please everyone. Because eventually it just left me drained, stressed, frustrated, unloved. Nobody likes a people pleaser. It's the truth. There's a saying that Yoruba people say, good girl, good girl, good girl, apalonjebe. I don't know how to really translate it. Boundaries are like friends, and setting boundaries doesn't mean that you hate people. Basically means that you value what is inside. And I don't know how best to explain it. It's like back home when you build a fence, right? It's not that you're saying, oh, people should not come inside your house, but you're basically saying, I value what is inside this compound, and I want to also prevent unnecessary use, unnecessary entrance, unnecessary violation. That's why we build friends. And it's the same thing. That's why boundaries should be in our lives. Whether it's in friendship, relationship, at work, you need boundaries, to protect your values, to protect your peace, protect your time. I wish I knew this earlier, because then it was just garbage in, garbage out. Anything goes. Yes, 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 yes. I wish that I knew that saying no doesn't mean that I'm a bad person. It was okay to say no. And saying no doesn't mean that you're unkind. I kind of feel like if I had said no, then I would, be a very wicked person. But no, because actually value your boundary, respect you. And those that don't value your boundaries, well, their reaction already says it. Let them go. Now let's move on to the next one. And this is a confession. I used to wait for the perfect timing to start anything. And I would delay until it is perfect to start. I would say, okay, I'll wait till I have money. Oh, I'll wait until this is done. Oh, I'll wait until that is done. I hated, starting very small and just starting with what I had. I say, oh, once I get a camera, oh, once I get this pro version of Canva. Oh, once I get this pro version of CapCut. Oh, once I do this. Oh, once I do that. And there was always never a perfect time to start for me because I was always delaying things until you start before you actually begin to make progress. Small beginnings are not failures. Like it's like you're sowing a seed. The Bible says that don't despise the days of small beginnings. That's just because what matters, right, is consistency and not perfection. You get perfect as you start. But as you keep delaying, you forget to actually start because the perfect time never comes. I learned that in a hard way, and grateful for this YouTube channel, grateful for many other things that I've had to do, and I've had to start very small and just wigging it as it come by. Sometimes the videos are good, some other time the videos might not be good. But no, as I get there, as I continue to show up every day, I learn from my mistakes. The next video gets better. The next thing I do get better. It's the same thing at work. Pick up a task I'm not familiar with, learn on the job, ask questions, watch videos. It's the same thing for our work with God. Wake up in the morning, pray, study. Instead of saying, oh, my actual prayer time is by 10, I have missed 10 o'clock, so I'm not going to pray at all. No, there is no perfect time. Just as long as you know that you're meant to pray, then you pray. And finally, it's the biggest lesson of all. God's plan would always be better than mine. I was always a big planner and I still kind of struggle with it now. And so I'm working on that. I would plan, I like to be very organized and I struggle with people that, just go with the flow. We kind of clash a lot. If you're my friend, and you'll probably notice that we clash when it's time to plan, kind of like to plan ahead, and that's just me deviating now. I would always plan something and eventually it's not turn out to be what it is. There were many times that I've cried because a relationship that I thought would work out ended. Times that I cried because a job I wanted I didn't get. Times that I feel like a dream that I want is being delayed. These are just plans that I had that I thought that it's going to happen. But it didn't happen because God's plans are way better than mine, obviously. And I'll feel like God was punishing me. Like, why is this happening to me? What's going on? This is the plan I had. Why did you not break my plan, God? Looking back honestly, with the kind of mindset I have now, I know that He's protecting me. Two Bible verses I hold on to. His plans for me are for good, and then all things work together for my good. Those two verses, I've paraphrased them, but it's basically all things work together for good for those that love the Lord. Yeah, basically. And I kind of tell myself I love the Lord, so whatever thing that is happening in my life is because He loves me. And I just had that mindset now. In the past, I struggled with it. If it didn't work out for me, I kind of felt then that God was punishing me. Sometimes we read the Bible and we just read through the Bible verse and we just read like that. Once you really have a revelation of the scriptures, it will not really be live to us. If I had known earlier that His plans are higher than my plans, I would have had so much peace when things happened in my life. Right? I would have trusted Him more instead of stressing over things that I was not supposed to stress about. And maybe you're even in that place where you're thinking that, why has this thing not happened to me? God, I've applied for jobs. God, I've gotten rejections. God, this is my fifth relationship. God, this is my third marriage. Maybe you're in that spot right now. Can I just remind you something? His thoughts are not your thoughts. His ways are not your ways. That's actually a good thing because when it shows up like boom. It blows our mind, and then we are able to connect the dots as to why our plans do not, happen. So those are the 5 lessons I wish I knew earlier. So yeah, I'm curious. What's one life lesson you wish you knew earlier? I would be reading your comments in the comment section. Leave it in the comments below. And remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel, like this video, share and click on the notification bell if you have not yet done that. Until next time guys, I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.